Good morning. This is Cultivate Your Heart for June 19th, 2024. This morning, I was thinking about and reading through Philippians chapter 2, and Paul begins Philippians chapter 2 by saying this: Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ, any comfort from his love, any fellowship together in his Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? So he's making this plea, and he's basically saying, look, if you are in a relationship with Jesus Christ, if you are encouraged by that, if you are comforted from his love, if you are in fellowship because of who he is, if your heart is tender and compassionate, if Christ has impacted you, if your relationship with God has impacted you in any way, shape, or form, verse 2, then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and purpose. So because of our relationship with Jesus, because of what Jesus has done for us, that's gonna overflow. Like if this cup were full of coffee, and sadly it is not because I've been drinking it for the last 45 minutes. If this cup were full of coffee and I added more to it, it would overflow, right? So because it's full of something, it's going to overflow. And what Paul is saying is, if we have a relationship with God, then that is going to be something that's observed, and we'll agree wholeheartedly with one another, we'll love one another, we'll work together, and then some other things will also happen. Verse 3 says, don't be selfish, don't try to impress others, be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. So one of the things that I wrote in my Bible, because I'm a Bible writer, at the bottom, you can't read it from here, but I can. It says, my relationship with Christ is reflected by my relationship with others. So because I'm in a relationship with Jesus, that's going to overflow. Something is going to come out of me. That's going to impact and affect my life. It's going to impact and affect the way that I am with other people. And then he brings it back, and this is verse 5. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on the cross. So Paul is beginning this section in Philippians chapter 2 by talking about Jesus, what Jesus has done, who Jesus is. Then he talks about who we are because of Jesus, the way that we live our lives, an outflow of love. And then he brings it right back to Jesus, because for Paul, it's just all about Jesus. So my hope and my prayer for you today is Paul's hope and prayer for you. Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Is there any comfort from his love? Is there any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? If that's true for you, then you can make me happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, working together with one mind and purpose. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others better than yourselves. Don't look out for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You, the one watching this, you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. That's my hope and prayer for you, is that you would be so impacted and so affected by what Christ has done for you, that you would go out and that would overflow in your life, and others would experience the hope of Christ that you have experienced, they would experience that same hope, that same love, and that same mercy. So, love you, thinking about you, praying for you today. Hope you have a super day. Would love to see you at VBS tonight, but have a wonderful day. See you next time.